Okay, so that's regarding that. Let's go into here so we get our PowerPoints for today. Did everyone manage, or did I not manage to go through the material that you were meant to cover for this class?
I use the PowerPoint as my guideline.
Okay, so we'll extend that again. I mean, now you have the book, so now you have everything available.
Yeah, you mentioned page numbers, and of course, on the PowerPoint, you have page numbers.
I mentioned page numbers for the PowerPoint?
No, you mentioned study this page through this page.
Right. No, but I gave you the pages on I showed you before in the announcement. You have the actual pages there.
Those are the actual pages that didn't set.
No, they don't correspond to this book because this is the volume currently out. That what I sent you is from the new edition.
Okay, okay.
But you'll see. You can see it's Tikkun Kli by Food. You'll see. There's a title Tikkun Kli by Food. Okay, so what else did I want to mention regarding the assignments? I remember this second. Before I read, we're well done. It was well depicted. Oh, regarding the case of the tin. So we had a number of, folding the tin. That was the last question. The assignment. So some of you pushed the premises that for the first time to do it on Shabbos would be problematic. Right? A number of you wrote that. You wrote that. I don't remember if you wrote that, Yosef. You did as well. So as I mentioned earlier in the Shiur, my position on that is that it should all be mutter because it's all part of the use. And you actually, I think it was you that used an interesting term, derech tashmishai. It's a term that's used elsewhere in Hilchos Shabbos. I haven't seen that term used in these laws of Tikkun Kli, but I think it's a useful term. Derech tashmishai, which means it's the way of use. It's not called fixing. Something that somebody that wouldn't call fixing is not considered on Tikkun Kli. And even though it's the first time, would be similar to a person putting a belt for the first time into his pants. So you can say, well, you just fixed the pants. You lost weight, and now you can't wear the pants anymore unless you wear the belt. So you just fixed your pants. No, we don't say that. It's not meant to stay there. It's meant to move. So in my opinion, it wouldn't be an issue whatsoever. But once again, I do accept other logics. I already said I had this debate with Rav many years ago, and we can have that debate as well and leave it that way. That's fine.
Is there actually a recorded room for the stringency, or is it just you're saying it's a reasonable way to think that? Is there a
so this is good. So this would be an area. I think this is a great showcase example of a shiur in which you would have a difference of opinion of Rabbanim based on what's called daiti naita, where my mind leans. In other words, we all know all the sources. Let's say the sources we all are aware of, and this is often the case in disputes. Sometimes it happens that a certain paisik, a certain tshuva, was unaware of an opinion or was unaware of something, and that's why he gave an erroneous, so to say, an erroneous psak. But in the majority of cases, that's not. And by the way, they would then have another tshuva saying, "I retract." That happens all the time. But often we all know the cases, we all know the facts, but I understand it this way, another understands it that way, and we're not going to budge anywhere. It's going to remain a debate amongst Rabbanim, and that these paskin like this and these paskin like that. So this is an example. There's two different ways. The mind can see both perspectives.
Well, for the purpose of good learning, if you ask one question, the narrow shoelace case, the shoelace through a narrow hole. I guess it's a little bit of a judgment call as to how hard you're working to do any one thing. Is it more like stuffing pillows, which is easy, or is it the manipulation of one of those cups, which I fumble with quite often? I fumble with the manipulation.
Well, so it depends. If you fumble with it, like somebody who's drunk and can't do it, and that's why he's fumbling with it, or somebody who just has shaky hands, it's one thing. Yeah. But I think most people understand, what's the difference between a tough shoelace hole area to put it in versus one that's easy, and this will be left to your discretion. I agree with you.
But in real life, you would tell a person, goes and say, hey, go ahead.
With what, the shoelace?
No, in real life with the tin, you say.
Yeah, that's what somebody would ask me, and so I would tell them it's not a problem. You can play around with it, whatever you want.
What if you have a brand new white shirt, and it's got pins and stuff in it? How do you
So I put that in the book, in the new edition. Did you read that? Where was it? In the past week's material or the coming week's material?
I think so.
This week's, So we'll get to that. We'll get to it. We're going to get to it. Yeah, I understand your question. I wrote down your question. Okay. Let's get started right now with another sugya in the laws of Tikkun Kli. This is a very, very important sugya. And I have to mention, Tikkun Kli is a massive topic. It covers so many subjects that we're not going to cover now, and I will mention later other topics it touches upon. But you should just be aware Tikkun Kli is not just limited to the fixing of something. It created many other halachas of Shabbos that we're going to learn. And it's not always well known. It's not always well known. So this is a subject that I also saw that there's a lot of confusion in, and I don't really understand why, because when you learn the material and the sources, it's very clear what's mutter and what's aser. So we're going to go through this together, okay? This was not on this we're going to cover together, so it was not on your review sheets for this week, because I want to do it together in class.
What page you want?
In the book, it's page 42. Okay, so the topic is cutting, tearing, or breaking an item in order to make a use of it on Shabbos.
What about F? You didn't ever cover F with us, inserting the door.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm deliberately skipping some material. There's often material that is, the truth is, one second. You know what? You're right, we didn't finish the previous PowerPoint. You're right, we didn't finish the previous PowerPoint. The door case, I figured we could skip, but we didn't finish. Yeah, we finished with the, okay, so we have to do that. We finished with the shoelaces last week, so we have two more things we have to cover, a few more things we have to cover before we get to the cutting. So let's just do that first. Yeah, so this we didn't do. Yeah, this we did, right? So this was the last one. So we're up to 17.
Yeah, what was the conclusion?
On what?
On the line?
Machlekes in place.
Both.
Okay, so we're ready. There's a slide. We'll do it anyway. Regarding, basically it's like this. The subject of inserting a door into the sockets on Shabbos is very complex, and we're going to actually have a whole chapter on it later on. We probably won't do it in class. I'll let you do that on your own. It's just a lot of the materials. I mentioned this earlier, it's not really so practical. We don't have the type of doors discussed there anymore today. But just to have a little bit of background on the subjects as follows. Whenever you insert a door into sockets, so it can possibly involve the isser of Tikkun Kli or the isser of Boineh. So here, what you have on page 41 is only dealing with Tikkun Kli. And in order for it to be Tikkun Kli and not Boineh, would be the difference of whether it's attached to the ground or not. So for example, if this door is slided out of the socket a little bit, and it happens sometimes somebody will slam the front door very hard and it went a little bit above the socket, now it's hard to close. You cannot on Shabbos bang it back in. Even if you won't use a hammer. That's the isser of Boineh, because the door is attached to the building. So it's building, it's not Tikkun Kli. So it'll tell you, well, there's no Tikkun Kli involved. It says, you're right, but you got another one. You got Boineh involved. You ran out of one issue, you went into another. Okay, so that's for sure, and that's the most severe. Now, another case of severity would be, and this is something we're going to learn later on in Boineh, but it's kedai to know already now, that any vessel, an item, meaning a portable item that holds 40 sa, which is the amount of space, of volume of a mikvah. Okay? Not so big. This bima could be 40 sa, right here. Okay? Inside, the volume, yes. And don't forget, we're going to be, for Isser Shabbos, we're going to pass him like the most lenient opinion in 40 sa, meaning the lowest measurement. For mikvah, we pass him like the highest measurement. But to be machmir, we're passing like the lowest measurement. So this, often, the bimas definitely hold 40 sa. So if one of the doors came out of the socket, and I want to put it back in, that would fully transgress Boineh laws, not Tikkun Kli laws, Boineh laws, and they're more stringent. A lot more stringent. We're not learning that now. It's the next chapter. I'm just letting you know that would be the difference. So this is, for it to be Tikkun Kli, it would have to be a portable item that is not attached to the ground and is making it portable, and that does not contain 40 sa. For example, like this stender over here. This is a less than 40 sa item right there. So for somebody to fix the door of this stender, right, the chazin's mantle over there, that would be Tikkun Kli. And there's ways of fixing it that would only be rabbinically forbidden if it didn't require forceful work. It didn't require using any material. You can just use your hands, put it back in, and it's very easy. Then it would be only a D'Rabbanan. While if you did it if you needed to put a lot of energy and forced it in, and now it's strongly, and that would be an D'Oraisa of Tikkun Kli. So bottom line is that if you have any portable